today what I'm going to be doing is a picture pour. The resin I'm going to be using is the T-Expert Crystal Clear Art Epoxy. It's a brilliant epoxy. It's high gloss, bubble free, has an 85D hardness and a very low odour, and it doesn't pull away from the edges and doesn't give you all those funny streaks. Prepared my canvas, because this is a normal canvas, and I've already done a video on that, so I'll link that at the end of this video so you can see how to easily prepare a canvas ready for a picture pour. Picture pours can be a little bit messy, so what I've got, believe it or not, is this. This is a massive silicone mat. And they come in several different colours. They were really inexpensive. I was so surprised at how cheap this was. But it's covered up my whole desk. And when I'm doing other projects, it still has enough space on there for me to be able to put on a normal blue one. The other great thing is one side of it is shiny, even though it's picked up the dirt off my desk at the moment because I haven't cleaned it. But it will wipe down really easily using a baby wipe. So if you wanted to pour directly onto this and make patterns, you would get some shiny results from it. And my canvas pour, as always, I will do on top of my leveling table because I want to make sure it's as level as possible. And this time I'm going to allow it to overflow the edges as well. And I'm also going to prop it up to allow those edges to overflow really nicely. So without too much yappity, let's get on with pouring this. I think it's going to be beautiful. Well, I've mixed all my resin up now and added my mica powders in. And I've used mica powders in this because I want that iridescence of the actual finished picture. The base colour I'm putting down is this white, and this is the one I've mixed the most up of course. But I don't overmix. I've seen some people where they do these pictures, they do come out lovely, but they would use 3 or 4 times this amount, and most of that would run off or they'd spread off, and to me that's just a waste of resin. As long as you've got a good covering and you've got no canvas or board or anything showing through your base colour, you'll be fine. You'll get a great result. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody that got me a coffee last month. It really has helped me to keep this channel going, to be perfectly honest, so thank you. And please leave me a little note when you leave me a coffee because I love reading them. Also a massive thank you to all my members whose names are coming up now. And if you'd like to benefit from the perks of being a member, then the link for that and all the information is in the description below. I've gone around the edges of this picture as well, which is what I'm doing now, because I find if I put a little bit of resin on there, it will flow over and give a much neater finish to it. If I leave them without any resin on, then it doesn't always flow over evenly. Now with this black mica powder, what I'm doing is I'm only putting it on 3/4 of this picture, and you'll see why in a minute. And I'm not putting a lot down because black can be a dominant colour, of course. And I'm using it as my second layer, and that way it isn't going to dominate. It's just going to give you some hints. Now with the blue, I'm going over quite heavily in this area where there is no black, and then a little bit lighter where there is black. And that way, when these merge in together, you're going to get a very different feel to the picture. It's going to look more ombre effect. With the gold, I want the gold to go over the whole thing. So that's why I'm doing it in these little spirally shapes or 12 shapes to give an even covering all the way over. If you haven't checked out my other channel, Steve McDonald Crafty, I do a lot of upcycling and different crafts on there and try out different things. So please give it a look. The link for that channel is in the description below. Now using a hot air gun, now this is quite an old one, so it has only one setting. I would strongly recommend that you get a hot air gun that has different temperature controls on it, so you don't have to have it hot. The important thing is to keep this moving all the time. You don't want to overheat one particular area of your resin because that can cause it to burn, and that might cause it as well to have a ripple. So if you heat evenly to start with, you will get a much neater finish to it. And as you can see here, I've been moving this around in circles. I have it about an inch, which is 2 centimeters away from the actual canvas itself. Then once I'm completely satisfied that everything is warmed up and heated up, that's when I will start to move the actual resin around itself and try and create maybe some movement or possibly some cells and use it at a slight angle, and that will push it out and make it move around a lot easier on the canvas. Now I really like this at the moment, but you never really know. That's the exciting thing about doing a pour like this, how it's going to finish off. Oh look, there's something there in it. That was obviously something I hadn't noticed. So what I'll do now this is heated up, I'll leave this a few minutes to see what happens. And if I like it, which I do, there's some cells that have come through, then what I'll do is I'll cover this up and then I'll let it cure overnight. This is all nice and dry now, which is great. Dried overnight, so I can take it off its little stand. And there wasn't too much runoff either, because it was nice and level, which is really important. Any resin that's on this table will just come off, which is great. Don't want that on there. It comes off really quite nice and easy. Although I always have my little silicone mat on there, because that helps as well. And if it runs around the legs, these legs, the plastic on these legs will stop it sticking on there, so you can remove it. Not a problem. It's not going to ruin the table, which is really important. So let's take that mat off. And the one thing I like about when there's a lot of runoff is when you take it off your mat, not that there was a great deal of runoff, it cleans your mat up lovely. And then this stuff I always keep and put into other projects, as you know. And there we are, that's all nice and finished. Now what I forgot to do last night was cover it up, which is so silly. It's always important to cover things up, because if not, little specks of dust get on them. But that hasn't done it too bad, so I'm pleased about that. The other great thing about this resin is you don't get any of those little divots or fish eyes in it. And as you can see, it does cover all the edges. It doesn't pull away from the edges when you're doing something like this, so really important. I'm ever so pleased with the way that this has come out. What I like about doing a resin pour using different colours is you never really know how it's going to finish. You don't know where you're going to get cells. You also don't know how the final stuff's going to merge in together, so it is a surprise when you get to coming and doing the final picture. And overall, I couldn't be happier with that. I'm sorry about the glare of the lights in here. So as you can see, where I put the black, you've got this black and these colours swarming through here with some cells. I don't do many picture pours anymore because they don't seem to be popular on YouTube, and it's all about the algorithm at the moment, because obviously it's my full-time job and I have to earn some money. But I do like to do them now and again because I know there are people out there that absolutely love doing them, and I want to still make videos that I love making too. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, let me know in the comments if you do pours and things like that. Now, I will definitely take this to a craft fair or put it up somewhere and sell this, or I will put it up somewhere in the house because I really do like it myself. If you like it, please boop the like button. It really does help me and lets me know the sorts of things that you like to watch. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know if you're making picture pours still, because if you are, then I'll do a few more on the channel. And the great thing is, this is lovely and light because it's done on a canvas, and it's also completely flush. There's no dips or anything. So if you want to know how I prepare my canvas, which couldn't be simpler and cheaper to do, then I'll link that video at the end of this video. This is a brilliant resin. I'm really pleased I found it, and it's not expensive at all, which is great. Does exactly what it says on the bottle and gives you a great result. Hit that subscribe button. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.